I know you've seen a ton of information out there about the Wyze cams, but what I want to do today is make sure that through my review, you understand who should and shouldn't buy the Wyze Cam V2. Hello automators, thanks for tuning in again. Let's take some of that frustration out of automation and make sure that if you're buying one of these, number one, you're ready and you know what it can do, and you're also one of the people that I think should buy one of these, because there is a bit of a differential between the type of person who's going to love the Wyze Cam and someone who's going to love something like a Nest Cam. First off, what is the Wyze Cam V2? Well, it's a smart home camera that does just about everything you would expect it to do, but it does free 12-second recordings. It has a local storage option for recordings that are longer as well, and it even has an RTSP streaming option that you can go ahead and put onto this device. It's also capable of sending out all kinds of notifications, and we'll talk about what it can do right now. It can see in the day, it can see in the night, it can record locally, and it can record into the cloud as well. It is capable of sensing people, it is capable of sensing sounds, and it is capable of sensing other motion as well. You can trigger notifications off of all of those different things, and you can stream to now the Google Assistant and Amazon's voice assistant here. So it is fully integrated at this point, although you cannot drive automation in a native way out to these devices. So you can't have this see something and then drive automation through Google or Amazon again, not natively and not just yet. It is capable of time-lapse videos, and you can download those time-lapse videos. It is also capable of recording locally indefinitely onto the storage card, so it can act like a true security camera indefinitely in your home or even on the road. Wyze has also made it entirely possible to drive automation out of the cameras and also into the cameras here through If This Then That. They've given you both trigger events through maybe you see an event or you hear an event and you want to trigger some other kind of automation in your home, or you can also trigger these to start cloud recordings. You can also trigger them to turn on and off and change notifications and things like that through If This Then That. And with the new capability of pairing their Wyze Sense system, which you see over here, which is another $20 add-on here, this system, you're able to trigger a lot of different events as well. What do I like about the Wyze Cam? Well, let's start with the price. It's $20 US, and we'll talk internationally in a bit here, but the Wyze Sense is also very aggressively priced. The different sensors, if you ever want to add those on, they are $5 and $6 respectively after you have a $20 starter kit here. You're getting a lot for $40 US when you consider that. The new Wyze bulbs are priced aggressively as well, and with all of that, you're getting quite the package when you consider everything that this camera can do. Probably my favorite feature on the whole device is actually local recording. That option and that capability is so important to this camera and really the smart home industry in general. There are so few options out there for local recording. You put a micro SD card in here. You have to be careful with which kinds you do. Don't cheap out is what I'll kind of tell you. And you have to format it a certain way, but this isn't a hard thing to do. And once you have that on there, you're getting longer recording. So it's not just that 12-second cloud recording, which could trigger too early to catch the part of the event you want, but you also have that local storage here from Wyze. The last thing that I really love about these Wyze cams is it's Wyze's approach to the whole smart home market. It aligns very closely to me, and I think it's really important to talk about that. They are trying to make these devices accessible, and so when I look at devices like this and devices priced at $5 and $6 US, they are clearly trying to make this accessible for everyone, and that is a really important thing to me. Now, there's drawbacks to that, and on that note, let's talk about some of the drawbacks of this device. Really what I'm going to boil this down to for you is that this this is a bit of a project camera. This is not something that you are going to set and forget, at least not yet. And again, with the development cycle and what Wyze is trying to do, they're putting new features in all the time. We've kind of already talked about person detection, but you get a new feature like that. How does it work? Is it really hitting all the notes that you need it to? So a couple examples of this. The event triggers, motion triggering here on these devices, you're going to have to play with those settings for yourself. This is not a PIR sensor, so it senses light changes, and you're really going to have to dial down your motion sensing triggers off of this, and that's one of the reasons person detection is so important. But even as Wyze released that personal detection, it's not a perfect situation, it's not a perfect feature, and they are struggling getting it to work. It's going to take them time. So again, you have to play with these settings. Now, that also, it goes into the sound settings or the sound triggers. They have the CO and the smoke detection capabilities, but you have to have the standard kind of smoke and CO sound. The scheduling system for turning on and off these cameras or turning on and off the notifications, it's not very good. But what is very good is the shortcut system and if this then that capabilities. You can now schedule much better using that. But again, that's a little bit of a project for you without a local SD card, which again is my favorite feature on the camera. But without that, you will miss a lot of the events. It starts when it sees someone drive up to your home if it's sitting outside, and unfortunately by the time they get out of the car, that 12-second recording is done and there's a 5-minute cooldown. The RTSP option that we talked about, it works for some, but for the most part, and just about everyone I've talked to, it essentially breaks your camera. And finally, if you're in the international markets, the pricing is not anywhere near the same. I mean, I've heard Australia at $80. Here in Canada, we're $40 to $50 to get a Wyze Cam V2. So you have to keep that in mind as you look at these products. They're not being sold directly by Wyze either, so the support system is a little bit different, although I have always gotten support from Wyze as best they could. Now, clearly, Wyze is sitting on pins and needles as to whether or not they have our seal of approval here from Automate Your Life. The honest truth is, of course they do. This is a fantastic product at that $20 US price point, and even here in Canada, when I spend the $40 to $50 to go get one of these, I'm not feeling bad about this. What you do have to keep in mind all the time is that this is a little bit of a project, and it is not going to be a set and forget. So if you're looking for something to set and forget, go look at a Nest Cam. That's my honest opinion, or an Arlo or a Ring Cam. Go look at those cameras and go buy one. You're going to pay extra, but you won't have the setup and the tweaking and the configuration and all the playing that you will with a Wyze Cam, because you will have those things with this. Of course, here on Automate Your Life, we have a playlist that you're seeing on screen that will help you set up, configure, and really make this the best piece of automation in your smart home. So go ahead, start watching those, and you'll really narrow down on how you want to use one of these Wyze Cams in your smart home. Until next time, everyone, don't hate, automate.